This mini record has completely changed my perspective on merch and physical music. I hope the story I'm about to share inspires you as you come up with your own merch ideas. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Zach and I go by Captive Portal. I'm a music producer, audio engineer, and musician. I've been a drummer in many bands over the years, and one of those bands was 2 Minute Minor. 2 Minute Minor was an old school style hardcore band from Chicago, and one of the old school things we wanted to do is do everything DIY as much as possible. For our first album, we did everything ourselves. We recorded it, I mixed it, and we did all the packaging for the physical copies. We did vinyl, CDs, and cassettes. We also ran the online merch store ourselves. And after the success of this first album, I had this crazy idea where every single release we did, there would be a CD version, a cassette version, and a vinyl version. And what I was thinking originally, we would be doing albums and EPs and all that stuff, and I was not anticipating what was coming up next. So we were in the process of writing our second album, and one of those songs was a funny little short song about LaCroix. So around this time, Chicago came out with this new tax called the sweetened beverage tax. So all the sweet beverages that were sold in Chicago had an additional tax on it. We were noticing that non-sweetened drinks like LaCroix were also being taxed on accident. So with this LaCroix song that we had, we thought it would be a fun idea to release it as a single and have a little video with it. On the 10th of August in 2017, Soda Tax was released to the world.
Hey yo Mike, you wanna get some LaCroix?
Don't forget about it, man. They're taxing it like it's got sugar.
So when this came out, this was just a video and a digital single, but I still had the idea that I wanted everything on CD, cassette, and vinyl. Since Soda Tax was going to be re-recorded when we were going to do our second album, the single version needed a physical copy. So this is where the crazy passion project begins. So the first of the physical releases was a mini CD. This run of mini CDs didn't cost me anything. I already had these mini CDs from another project, and I just printed the artwork myself from home. So these mini CDs completely flopped. They barely sold, but it didn't bother me. It was just a little fun thing I wanted to do, and if a few people enjoyed it, that's all that mattered to me. Even though the mini CD flopped, I still wanted to keep going, so I got some cassettes made. These were all made on recycled cassettes that I had lying around at the time, so this also didn't cost me a thing. And these sold eventually. Obviously we didn't make that much money off it, but it was still fun and I was happy to do it. So technically I did 2 different runs of this cassette, both at 10 copies each. So the first run of cassettes was announced on Facebook Live, where the first 10 people that ordered something on our online store would get a cassette for free.
So we need some money for a recording, and the first 6 people that buy our half off merch will get a really dumb 2 Minute Minor only 10 made Soda Tax cassette tape. So that's your beautiful gift of nothingness. So the second round of cassettes came to be when I was putting our 3-song demo on cassette as well. I had a lot more recycled tapes and I just wanted to get rid of them, and by doing that I just made some more tapes. It was another round of 10 copies and I think they fully sold online, but it took a little while to do, and again, I didn't make that much money from it. It was just part of the passion project. So we had the CDs and cassettes. How the heck was I going to get this on record? I stumbled upon this lathe cut record site online where they could cut records at any size. I was blown away by this. You can go as big as 16-inch records to as small as 1-inch records. I wanted to make this Soda Tax record as small as possible, and the smallest size I could do was a 2-inch record. Since these records had to be purchased, I had to ask the band to see if it was okay if we can use the funds to buy these records. But since the CDs and cassettes didn't do well, they thought these records would be a bad investment, bad idea. We're an old school hardcore band, we don't do novelty items, it's not going to do well. Let's just do our normal records and move on. So I could understand where they're coming from. We didn't have an unlimited amount of funds, we were doing everything out of our own pocket. We were trying to save up for the next record, and these could be a total flop and we would lose money in the process. And for some reason, I still couldn't take no as an answer. So pretty much behind the band's back, I ordered all these records myself with my own money, printed all the artwork, did all the packaging, and one day I just showed up to band practice with all these records. They thought I was so silly for doing this, and understandably so, that I purchased these records with my own money, that these aren't going to sell, we're just going to be holding on to them, nobody's going to want them, these may not even play on record players because it's so small, etc, etc. I could understand, but I finally fulfilled my goal, getting the song on CD, record, and cassette. We waited to put these online to see if these would actually play on a turntable, and luckily it did.
We put this on our online store for a few dollars, not thinking it would sell at all. So we made a little post on our Facebook saying it's on our online store and didn't think much of it after that. But to our surprise, these 50 copies of this 2-inch record sold out in 3 days. We were all shocked. People didn't just buy this record, they bought a bunch of other merch as well. So that helped with a bunch of more sales, getting our name out there. I think this record was featured in a couple podcasts, a couple blogs, and people were really seeking to get this record after it was sold out. It's been resold on Discogs and eBay a handful of times. That just opened the door for so many more things for us. We did a couple of 3-inch records, and we also did an EP on a 1-inch record. That's right, an EP. 2 songs, 10 seconds each. It's so funny to think about. As far as we know, 2 Minute Minor was the first band to do a 1-inch record. We did 2 runs of the record at 50 copies each. Each of them was slightly different artwork. We did a couple of lockdown EPs right when the pandemic hit. We also did a cover album that was just kids' TV show theme songs. And all the gang vocals on that album were done by the fans' kids. It was a really fun project to do. We also came out with an EP where I did 8-bit remixes of some of our songs, and that was released on floppy disk. I had a handful of floppy disks lying around. I also wanted to get Soda Tax on floppy disk because why not? We did a regular version and a deluxe version of the floppy disk releases, and those sold out really fast. And while some people discovered us through these releases, they also discovered our regular releases and became fans of us, bought our merch, bought some of the regular releases on CD, cassette, and vinyl as well. So here are some of the takeaways that I got from doing all of these novelty releases. This kept our creativity flowing in between releases. This made us think outside the box when coming up with merch ideas. This kept us more active and consistent on social media. People discovered us through these novelty releases and became a fan of the band afterwards. And lastly, people were purchasing other releases and merch through these novelty release drops. I hope this video and this story inspires you to think outside the box when coming up with release ideas, distribution, merch drops. And if you have a really wacky idea, try it. You never know if it's going to work or not, but please don't break the bank while you're doing it. And you could also ask your audience, you never know what ideas they could have. I'll be posting more videos sharing stories like this, but in the meantime, you can check out this video where I share my 24-year music journey. This is Zach of Captive Portal, and I'll see you guys next time.